Hi guys, Dragoneither here. Today I'm doing a deck profile that has been, let's say, a long time coming. It's as you can tell, I'm not suffering from Ebola. I had bronchitis, by the way. It's been a long time in coming because I just didn't like some of the things that the deck required to have in order to kick off. I didn't like the fact that Zing's basically required to have creation to actually, to get going, to excel. And if you didn't get creation, and you didn't manage to get into Yazi or Baxi, you'd struggle a fair bit. I also didn't want to make a deck profile earlier on because I was testing some of the things that other people made, like Zing hands and stuff, and I don't want to get a net deck and give you guys a net deck profile because I like my deck profiles to have some sort of originality in them. And that's kind of what I got from this with the update from the new Forbidden and Limited list, the new Banlist for 2015. So I like where it's kind of heading. The new cards that I've added into here kind of give it that strength that it was always missing. I'll put it to you this way. Basically, Zing's, if your monster wasn't destroyed, like it was bounced or banished or something, or returned to hand, or it wasn't destroyed by battle and sent to the grave, so it was banished when it was destroyed by battle, and you didn't have creation up, you would just lose all your resources. If you used Jiaotu's effect and it got veiled or breakthrough, you'd lose so much. And that was something I didn't like about this deck. But now with the update, it's got a little bit of that oomph back. It's got a little bit of that, ability to get going a little bit stronger, a little bit of fight to it, which is something that it has been struggling with. But anyway, I'm going to get into it. Sorry, it's been a little bit longer than what my normal intros are, but I just wanted to explain that I didn't like the direction of this deck. It's getting more cards soon, which look amazing for it. But for now, this is my Zing deck profile with the updated 2015 ban list. So we've got 3 Suanis. Zoom in a bit for you guys. 3 Suanis. We got 3 Bians. They're the only ones I'm running 3 of for Zings at the moment. Don't need to go into details of why. You need some sort of attacker. Running 2 Bixi. With the build that I've got currently, I didn't want to have 3 Bixi, purely because I didn't want to be sitting and waiting for my opponent to do stuff. And that is one really big weakness of this deck, is that you wait for your opponent to destroy your monsters. And yeah, well, with the exception of a couple of new additions to the deck, I wanted to actually get out and start doing damage and force my opponent to have to attack an enemy and deal with my stuff, as opposed to me waiting for them to do something and hope that they didn't just get rid of my stuff, which is what Bixi did. But don't get me wrong, I like Bixi at 3, but for this deck profile, Bixi's sitting at 2. Let's hope for the auto zoom. Yep, okay, that's good. That's working fine. Cool. 2 Chiwan. I wanted to try it at 3, but again, it was the same thing of me worried about getting it and not going anywhere. And you don't technically need it at 3 as much anymore. 2 Jiaotu. Because, yeah, you have the Jiaotu. So 2 Chiwa and 2 Jiaotu. Kind of works alright. He speeds the deck up if you can manage to get the combo off. It's the same as Valkyrie, the Nordic Ascendant, in a way. But you actually get them from deck, which helps you search faster. But it is a bit of a risky move if you can't stop your opponent. I probably should run traps done here, but I don't. 1 Plower and 1 280, because they're still nice to have around, level 1, and to have this guy because 2200 attack with brutality, pretty nice. And finally, the tech that makes this stand out, which is running this because of the new ban list and it's come back to 3. Reborn Tengu. That's right. I'm running triple Tengu in here. and it has been working nice. And you'd be surprised the combos I've pulled off to, you know, actually kill people in 1 or 2 turns with Tengu. I've attacked someone once with 1 Tengu, and then compulsed it to get a second one out so I could hit them for 3-4 in 1 turn. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it works well when the fact that you finally have a card which will replace itself when you synchro. So if I want to go into a Goyo or an Orient Dragon or something with Jiaotu, I use up 1-2, I get at the Goyo or something or whatever, and then I also get another Reborn Tengu from deck. Or I go on Chiwen, get out Armides, and get another Reborn Tengu from deck. That was one thing I didn't like about this deck, is that if you go into a synchro and it gets a warning or something, you basically sit with nothing. You've used up all your materials. But now with Tengu, minus you can't do that during your opponent's turn because it's not a Yang Zing worm or whatever. At least with Tengu now, I can kind of make those power plays and not fear that I'll have nothing on the board. And I can also kind of just set him and not fear that I won't have a monster next turn, because it's pretty hard to get this guy off the field and for me to not have anything left. I mean, there's Phoenix Wing Blast and Riser and stuff, but yeah, he's been very handy, as I've seen with him playing him recently. Anyway, spells. 3 MST. You need this on almost every deck now. 1 Soul Charge, because to pull off this combo, and bring 3 back from the grave and bring out a Yazi or a Baxia, or even bring just Yazi or Baxia back, they actually do stuff. They do quite nicely being on the field, even if they can't attack. Especially Yazi. Yazi is very nice to have on the field. Yeah, it's handy to have. Not a lot of decks I actually like it running at 1, but this is very nice at 1. 2 Pot of Duality. I'm hoping one day I won't need to be running this. Any deck that I say that you run Pot of Duality at 2 at basically is saying that it doesn't have its own consistency. And Yang Zings don't really have their own consistency, other than creation. And then even then, yeah, there's not many search cards or anything. I mean, there's Path, but that's not consistent early game. Once the new cards come out, the Pendulum that's level 6 Pendulum with the scales of 7 comes out. I'm hoping that this won't be in the deck anymore. But for now, it's in, and it's still useful. 2 Chalice, because Chalice is nice. 2 Paths, because 3 is brick right now, because you're not going to get that off early enough. And 1 is just not enough. It's painful, but it's good, and yeah. And the last, but not least, 2 Dark Holes. This goes hand in hand with the Tengus coming back. And the fact that this helps your deck actually start up if you can get, something out. You play a Chiwen in defense, or attack or whatever, and then play Dark Hole. You get a search off Chiwen. You can't use his other effect, but you get the search off him, and you've destroyed your opponent's field, hopefully, and you go into another monster. And even if you start with both Dark Holes, it still works in the deck. If I start with 1 Tengu, 1 Dark Hole, no, 2 Dark Holes, play Tengu Dark Hole, destroy their field, and Dark Hole again, and get out a third Tengu. And then I've milled, I've gotten rid of some of the cards on my deck. Maybe not optimal, but still works very nice, and I'm very happy that came back to 2 for this deck. Next to traps. Probably should put warning back in, because I don't run breakthrough skill anymore. Breakthrough skill is very nice, don't get me wrong. But yeah, because of a certain matchup thoughts, had to take it out. So we got 1 T-Trib, 1 Compulse, 2 breakthrough skills, 2 wiretaps. You're gonna want to run that, trust me. And for the Yang Zing stuff, 2 brutality and 3 creation. Again, you need to run 3 creation, because I like 2 brutality as well. Because when you actually get to use its effect, it's quite nice. Would have considered running it 3, but not until the deck becomes a pure Yang Zing deck would I consider that. Creation is the card that you basically need half the time to get somewhere. Basically, if you don't get Creation, or your opponent, blind MSTs it, or you play it wrong, and you're gonna be in some pain. This is the card that helps your deck multiply. And yeah, it kind of once there's a searcher for this card, the deck is going to be so much better. I promise you that. And that's what it's been struggling with. Is the fact that I need that for the deck to really do well. Like, don't get me wrong, the deck still works, but to do well, you need Creation so bad. And once you get Creation going, you're pretty happy after that. It's a bit hard for your opponent to deal with that. Not saying impossible, but it helps a lot. Anyway, extra deck. 1 Underworld Fighter Balmung, 2 Armides. Didn't want to try Samsara. I like Armides a lot, especially in the current meta. It's good against the BA matchup and other stuff. That'll be an Orient Dragon and a Goyo or 2 Goyos. Haven't decided whether I want Orient Dragon and Goyo or 2 Goyos, but yeah, it might be 2 Goyos or it might be 1 Orient, 1 Goyo. We'll have to see how the decks are doing and whether running Orient's even useful or not. I mean, yeah. Anyway, not the Star Eater. Don't worry about that. 1 Ancient Sacred Wyvern. Now, this card is so incredibly good. I don't know why people don't run it. If you use Chiwen, I mean, it's a bit harder now with Jiatu because Jiatu can't go into it. But if you're running Chiwen, which you are, you have a light tuner. If your life points are higher than your opponent's, which this will help you out with that, this card gains attack equal to the difference. And if it's lower than your opponent's, you can at least put it in defense and pay 1,000 life points to bring it back. But if it's higher, I've won games because my opponent has been... I remember a very old video, which the opponent made an illegal play, but regardless, they soul charged for 4. This guy got plus 4k, and then I just swung 6-1 next turn and won. Like, this guy's really good. If any deck could play it, they should play it, and that's why he's in there. 1 Black Rose, don't even need to go into that. Okay, 2 Yazi and 2 Baxia, because Baxia I can find more arguable that you don't need to run it 2, but Yazi definitely run it 2 because it's so good. Yeah, they're the main dragons. You kind of want to get these guys out most of the time to go for the win. They're your best cards you can have. They kind of help you multiply. Yeah. So I'm no expert in this deck. I played it a bit, but not an amazing amount, not like Noble Knights, but yeah. 1 Thought Ruler Archfiend, getting him off is fun, and getting him off with Ancient Sacred Wyvern, even better. So good. He gives your life points back. This increases attack with life points. Pretty hard for your opponent to deal with both of them, if you can manage to get that far. Which is, again, why you need Creation in order to get that far, because without it, you're going to struggle a little bit. I promise you that, especially with Compulse and Virgil and all that shit. Anyway, 1 Bills, because if you can run Bills, you run Bills. He helps you a lot with the Cliffort matchup, but yeah. 1 Mistworm. Trust me, a big Trishula if I could. This card's won me games before. I use... I used a Chiwen once with 2 Suwanis just to bring this guy out to bounce 3 on my opponent's field and attack for game. Or even better, you use Jiatu and use Bien and Suwani. But, still. I don't know why people don't run this guy, to be honest. You can make him pretty easy, You can make him with Jiatu, 280, and Bixie, which is also fun. Yeah, anyway, not sure why people don't run him enough. And Leo, because if you make Leo, it's hard for your opponent to deal with. Anyway, this hasn't been the best deck profile because, again, I haven't had as much experience with playing this deck, so I can't give you guys the best feedback ever for it. But I found this stuff to work as it is so far. Try it out, especially the Tengu and Dark Holes. They work very nice for the deck. I'll be doing a lot more playtesting so I can bring you guys better feedback with the deck and how it runs and how to play it and all that shit, and maybe make a rant video on what sucks and what doesn't. For now, I'll say that if you don't get creation, it's hard. It's very hard, but it's not the end of the world. And yeah, Tengu and Dark Hole help a lot. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe. Pretty enthralled at the moment with how many subs I got. It's multiplied quite a bit. Yeah, it was a slow start to get to 100, and then since it got to 100, it's just kind of exploded from there. And I do thank you all for that. Yeah. Hopefully I'll get you a better deck profile later for this and update you guys a bit more on this. And yeah, Merry Christmas to all, even though that was a few days ago, and Happy New Year. It's New Year's Eve for me now. So I'm going to be partying and stuff tonight with the GF and mates and yeah. Anyway, thanks guys, and have a nice day. Dragoneither out.